The parents of a missing American journalist and military veteran have new hope that their son is still alive. Austin Tice disappeared while working in Syria more than 6 years ago, working there as a journalist covering the war. The Trump administration believes that the Marine turned journalist is still alive and being held captive, but it's unclear how the president's decision to pull U.S. troops out of Syria could affect any search, any leverage there. Joining me now are Deborah and Mark Tice. They are Austin's parents. Thanks very much to both of you for joining us during the holidays.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jim.
First, I just want to ask you, I have to imagine the holidays must be particularly tough for you to not have your son there with you. Tell us how you and the rest of your family are coping this year.
Well, Jim, it is difficult not to have Austin at home, and we all share a deep longing for him to be there. But we're not going to allow our joy and our enjoyment of each other to also be held captive. So we still celebrate, and we still remember how much we love each other and what a strong family we are.
It's a great model. Earlier this month, you announced that you had some new reason for hope, that he's still alive, that he's still safe. I don't want you to reveal any sensitive information. I know the nature of that around people being held captive like this, but can you give us a sense of why and how much new hope you have that he is still being held there?
Well, our hope has always been strong. I mean, our hope has never wavered, but it's not just our hope, it's a consensus based on information available that Austin's alive, that he's still being held in Syria. It's something that was reiterated by the Special Presidential Envoy for Hostage Affairs, Robert O'Brien, earlier this fall. And, you know, we just remain confident in expecting him to come home any day.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping for you, too. Listen, I know you have no interest in commenting on policy, and I don't want to put you in that position. But I'm just curious, with U.S. forces leaving Syria, does that concern you at all to not have a U.S. presence on the ground, as Austin remains, as far as we know, still held inside Syria?
Well, I mean, the troops wouldn't have anything to do with his release. And as you know, we have been praying for an end to conflict, a beginning of healing. And so everything that's a movement in that direction is good for the Syrian people.
Yeah, and Jim, I would add that regardless of what happens, policy, actions, we always find a way to think this is something that can help Austin come home. If the sun rises in the morning, we think that'll help Austin come home sooner.
Well, let me ask you this finally, because as a parent, I'm just imagining the pain you've been going through these 6 years. For folks at home who I'm sure feel the same way, how can they best help you? How can we best help you and your family through this, but also in terms of keeping attention on his captivity?
Well, we believe the most important thing to do is to pray for Austin. It's always a good idea to remind the president and our special presidential envoy and congressmen and senators that it's important for Austin to come home, that we're looking forward to having him home soon. And so those letters of encouragement mean a lot. If people want to donate specifically, Reporters Without Borders has a family fund that has been very supportive of our efforts for bringing Austin home.
CNN is seen around the world. We don't know who's watching at this time, but on the off chance that the people holding him are watching, or perhaps Austin himself, what message would you like to send?
Well, to those that are holding Austin, I would just say no one is benefiting from his continued detention. On the other hand, Austin coming home, being released, safely coming home will benefit not only our family and give us what we so long for, but also will be beneficial to those that are holding him as well. And it's an opportunity for something good to happen to everyone involved.
Right. And in case Austin gets to hear this, we just remind him to stay strong, that we're hoping and we're waiting and we're ready for him to come home.
Yep, and we love him more every day.
Well, goodness, Mark and Deborah Tice, we're praying for you. Certainly the big family here at CNN, our hearts go out to you, and we wish you the very best, and Austin the very best.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Take care.